Hey, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a video. And if this one helps you out, a like means a lot to us. Let's get into it. Stand in the chicken aisle of any grocery store and look at the packages. You will see labels making all kinds of claims: hormone-free, cage-free, free-range, all-natural, humanely raised, vegetarian-fed, raised without antibiotics, non-GMO, and more. These labels are not all equal. Some of them represent genuine differences in how a chicken was raised. Some of them are backed by real standards and third-party verification. And some of them, including one of the most common and most prominently displayed claims in the entire chicken case, are technically true of every single chicken on the shelf, regardless of which one carries the label. Today we are going through the chicken label landscape, from the most meaningless claims to the ones that actually mean something, because the difference between them has a direct effect on what you pay and what you get. And right now, most shoppers are paying premiums for labels that deliver nothing a cheaper package wouldn't have given them for free. Let's start with the headline. Hormone-free on a chicken label is one of the most successful examples of misleading through technically true marketing in the modern food industry. Here is why. The FDA and USDA have prohibited the use of hormones in poultry production in the United States since 1959. It has been illegal to administer growth hormones to chickens for over 60 years. Not just to some chickens, all chickens. Every chicken raised for meat in the United States is legally prohibited from receiving added hormones. This means that every package of chicken at every price point, from the cheapest store brand to the most expensive premium label in your grocery store, is hormone-free by federal law. The package that says hormone-free and costs 30% more than the one sitting next to it that doesn't say hormone-free contains chicken that was raised under identical legal restrictions regarding hormones. The USDA is actually aware of this problem and requires that chicken products labeled hormone-free or no hormones added include a disclaimer on the packaging stating that federal regulations prohibit the use of hormones in poultry. This disclaimer is required to be there. If you look hard enough at a hormone-free chicken package, you will find it in very small print, typically on the side or back of the package, in a location and at a size that the vast majority of shoppers never read. While the hormone-free claim itself sits in large, prominent, confidence-inspiring type on the front of the package where everyone sees it. The marketing mechanism at work here is what is sometimes called implied superiority. The claim does not say other chicken has hormones. It does not make a false statement about competitor products. It simply labels one product with a positive attribute, in this case hormone-free, and allows the consumer's brain to do the rest of the work. If this chicken is hormone-free, the unlabeled one must not be. That inference is automatic, it is predictable, and it is wrong. But it is the inference that drives the premium purchase, and the inference that makes the label commercially valuable, despite describing a characteristic universal to every product in the category. Now that we have established what hormone-free means, which is nothing as a differentiator, let's go through the rest of the chicken label landscape, because not all of it is equally meaningless, and knowing which labels actually represent something changes how you shop this aisle. Cage-free on a chicken label is the next most prominent example of a claim that sounds meaningful and isn't, at least not on meat. Cage-free refers to whether the chickens were raised in cages or not. The thing is, broiler chickens, meaning chickens raised for meat, are not raised in cages under conventional production, regardless of labeling. They live on the floor of large indoor barns in groups. No meat chicken in standard US production is raised in a cage. Cage-free on a chicken breast means the same thing as the standard for all chicken breast. It is a true statement about the labeled product that creates a false impression that it differs from unlabeled products in a meaningful way. Cage-free on eggs is a completely different story. Laying hens, the chickens that produce eggs, are frequently raised in battery cages in conventional production, which are small wire enclosures that significantly restrict movement. Cage-free eggs come from hens not kept in cages, and this represents a genuine and meaningful difference in the laying hen's living conditions. The term is meaningful on eggs. On chicken meat, it is not. All natural on chicken has a USDA definition, which gives it slightly more content than the FDA's non-definition for natural on general food products. For meat and poultry, the USDA defines natural as minimally processed and containing no artificial ingredients or added color. This means the chicken was not heavily processed before packaging and does not contain artificial preservatives or additives. It says nothing whatsoever about how the chicken was raised, what it was fed, whether it received medications, how much space it had, or any other aspect of its production. All natural is a processing claim on chicken, not a farming or welfare claim. Most chicken sold in the US meets this standard whether it says so or not. Vegetarian fed sounds positive and is frequently presented alongside other premium claims on higher priced packages. Chickens are naturally omnivores. In their natural environment, they eat insects, grubs, worms, and other small animals alongside grains and plant matter. Vegetarian fed means the chickens were raised without access to these natural food sources, which in practice usually means they had no meaningful outdoor access, because outdoor access would expose them to insects and other small creatures. Vegetarian fed can actually be an indirect indicator that the chicken spent its life indoors and is sometimes used as a premium sounding label on intensively farmed birds. It is not a welfare or quality positive claim. Non-GMO on chicken refers to the feed given to the birds rather than the birds themselves. Chickens are not genetically modified organisms. The claim means the grain and soy used in the chicken's feed was sourced from non-GMO varieties. Whether this matters to you is a personal decision, but from a nutritional standpoint, no scientific evidence has demonstrated that meat from chickens fed conventional GMO grain differs in its nutritional composition or safety profile from meat from chickens fed non-GMO grain. The non-GMO label on chicken speaks to a preference about agricultural practice rather than to any demonstrated difference in the food on your plate. Free range is the first label on this list that has a genuine regulatory definition with actual content, though the content is more limited than most consumers assume. The USDA defines free range for poultry as having access to the outside. The outdoor access requirement does not specify the amount of outdoor space per bird. It does not specify how long the birds must have access. It does not specify the quality or nature of the outdoor area. A barn with 50,000 birds and a small door leading to a concrete patch that most birds never find or use technically satisfies the USDA free range definition. Free range is better than nothing as a label. There is at minimum a legal requirement of outdoor access that does not exist for conventionally labeled chicken. But the reality it describes on the ground varies enormously from producer to producer, and the definition is loose enough that the label's presence on a package does not guarantee any particular welfare condition. Pasture-raised is a stronger claim than free-range, and the most meaningful welfare-related label you are likely to find in mainstream grocery retail. Though it comes with an important caveat. The USDA does not have a formal regulatory definition for pasture-raised. Any producer can technically use the term. The label becomes meaningful when it is paired with a third-party certification. Organizations like the American Humane Association, Global Animal Partnership, and Animal Welfare Approved have defined standards for pasture-raised that include minimum outdoor space requirements and specifications for the quality and nature of outdoor access. When you see pasture-raised with a named third-party certification on the label, you are looking at a claim that has been verified against a defined standard by an independent party. Without that certification, pasture-raised is an unverifiable marketing claim with no regulatory floor. Raised without antibiotics and no antibiotics ever are the most genuinely important claims on a chicken label from both a personal and a public health perspective. Antibiotic use in conventional poultry production is real, legal, and widespread. Antibiotics are used both therapeutically to treat sick birds and, in some operations, to promote growth and prevent disease in crowded conditions. The documented relationship between antibiotic use in livestock and the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria is one of the significant public health concerns of our time. Antibiotic-resistant infections kill hundreds of thousands of people globally each year, and the routine use of medically important antibiotics in food production is a contributing factor. Choosing chicken labeled raised without antibiotics or no antibiotics ever, which is a stronger version of the same claim indicating no antibiotics at any point in the bird's life, is a decision that has genuine public health implications beyond the personal. It is not marketing language. It represents a meaningful difference in how the birds were produced. The price premium for antibiotic-free chicken is therefore therefore a premium for something real, unlike the premium for hormone-free, which is a premium for a guarantee the law already provides to every chicken. USDA Organic is the single most content-rich label in the chicken case. To carry the USDA Certified Organic seal, chicken must meet a defined and enforced set of requirements. The birds must be given certified organic feed, meaning feed raised without synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, or GMO ingredients. They must not receive antibiotics. They must have access to the outdoors. The operation must be certified by an accredited certifying agent who inspects and verifies compliance. Organic is not a perfect label, and debates exist around the quality of outdoor access requirements under organic standards. But it is a federally defined and independently verified standard that covers feed, medication, and outdoor access simultaneously. If you are buying chicken based on a combination of welfare and production practice concerns, organic is the label that delivers the most defined and verifiable set of guarantees per dollar of premium paid. Humanely raised with no additional certification information on the package means very little. The USDA has no regulatory definition for humanely raised, and any producer can use the term without meeting any specified standard. The meaningful version of a humanely raised claim is one backed by named third-party certification, Certified Humane, Global Animal Partnership, Animal Welfare Approved, each of which has defined standards for stocking density, access to outdoor areas, and other welfare indicators that are independently audited. The certification name should be visible on the package alongside the claim. Without it, humanely raised is an assertion with no verification behind it. Let's bring this back to practical shopping guidance, because the picture that emerges from all of this is fairly clear. The labels that represent genuine distinctions between products, meaning they describe production practices that are not universal and are not legally required of all chicken regardless of labeling, are raised without antibiotics and no antibiotics ever, organic with USDA certification, pasture raised with a named third-party certification, and certified humane or similar third-party animal welfare designations. These cost more because they reflect real differences in how the birds were raised, and the price premium at least corresponds to something. The labels that sound meaningful but describe things that are either universal to all conventionally produced chicken or so loosely defined as to be nearly unverifiable are hormone-free, cage-free on meat, all natural, vegetarian fed, and humanely raised without third-party certification. The price premiums on these labels are marketing premiums. You are paying for the impression of distinction, not for a genuine difference in what is in the package. The chicken aisle is not unusual in this regard. It is simply one of the clearest illustrations of how food labeling in the United States operates. A system where some labels are rigorously defined and enforced, some are loosely defined and inconsistently applied, and some are technically true statements that imply differences that legally do not exist. Knowing which is the only way to decide whether the premium you are being asked to pay for a label corresponds to something worth paying for. Drop a comment with which label surprised you most in this video. We read every single one. And if you want us to do a full breakdown of egg labels next, because that is a completely different landscape with its own set of meaningful and meaningless claims, let us know below. Hit the like button if this was useful, subscribe and tap the bell if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.